howdy.
Hi there. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, no problem. I
This
just
should be
wanted to find out sort of a baseline. Where is your knowledge with human design and gene keys?
um, human design has been a complement to the keys for me, and I've been working with the keys for about 4 years now.
Okay, so you're familiar with just what the line numbers are.
I'm familiar with what? Sorry?
Just the line numbers, because I'm not reading the keys. I'm going through your whole chart, but just
Yeah,
with the line
yes.
numbers. Okay.
Yeah, just let me shut the door. Just give me one sec. Okay, sorry about that.
I'm not fancy enough to pull up the thing in a. What I did was printed out. I took out all the gene keys and just printed your line numbers and the
Oh, right on.
gifts.
Yep.
And
So what do you see?
you're a 3-5 projector emo.
I
I'm
am.
a 5-1 projector emo.
Okay.
So as they call in the gene keys, the third line in life's work and evolution is the change maker.
Mm-hmm.
And on the human design side, they call it more of trial and error.
Right. Yeah, and it's true.
Usually finding out what does not work in order to figure
Exactly.
out what does work.
Exactly. And enjoying the journey along the way.
Exactly. It's a very
Hopefully.
it's transforming in your life's work, transforming inadequacy to resourcefulness.
Very true.
Some of the things about the third line is it's dynamic, it can be joyful, and can be a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
It's about experimentation and discovery and figuring out what does not work, and you gain wisdom from the experiences.
Yeah.
The shadow, I try to give both the positive and the negative.
Well,
So
yeah, because we have both. So that's good.
the shadow can be uncommitted, it can be pessimistic and unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
And the wound within the third line is shame.
Oh, very much so, right? Yeah.
And shame is healed through humor.
Yes.
Being able to laugh at all the stupidness and stuff that doesn't work and just not
Right.
take it seriously.
Being gentle with yourself and not taking things so personally. That sort of energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it responds best to absolutely no pressure.
None, zero, right? It's so true.
It is what it
so
is.
well.
Let it be. Don't try to change it.
Right? No. When I feel that I have that freedom, it is liberating. And I have both the 55th and the 39th. I totally get that energy, right? But it's so true. The minute I feel pressure, I check out, right? But that pressure has to be applied from myself to see the purpose in committing to something and holding to that commitment, persevering, which is in my purpose sphere, right? Yeah, it's such a beautiful system, this thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Right.
The breakthrough comes for you. It goes through the SQ, which is the fourth line, which is about heartfelt service to humanity. And in your radiance, you have a fifth line, all about the fifth line, which I know quite a bit about.
You do.
The fifth line can be the savior or the heretic.
Right.
Or I call myself a solutionist.
Solutionist. Oh, I like that.
Or a fixer.
Yeah, that's the term I've always kind of associated, right? And I've had to learn the purpose of stepping in to fix something and the purpose of not stepping in to try to fix something. Like,
very true. And because the fifth line is very attractive to others, when we have solutions, it's great. And people often project upon the fifth line. I don't know if it's as much in the subconscious as it is in the conscious, but we will attract energy and projections, both negative and positive.
right?
Project
Look at
that
my,
we can fix them, and if we don't, then we're kind of burnt at the stake, per se. And
yeah, so we need to learn that balance. Absolutely. Right?
yeah, the
My
balance.
attractor sphere. My attractor sphere should tell you something about that crap.
Yeah, I see the fifth line there too. So
Yeah.
boundaries are real important for fifth lines, and knowing what is yours and knowing what is not yours.
Exactly.
What is projected upon, which is really hard to figure out sometimes.
Yeah, it's taken me most of my life, frankly. So yeah, it is. Right. I'm so grateful now to be able to discern, right? Discriminate between one from the other. And, you know.
I think I saw discernment as one of your keys, but I'm not sure.
No, I don't have it. Not as a prominent key. No.
Well, the wound with the fifth line is about guilt, and it is healed with forgiveness.
Yes.
Not only forgiveness of others who are burning us at the stake, but forgiveness of ourselves.
Right? Yeah.
Not having the solutions or making errors.
Not being perfect.
Right. Perfectly imperfect is how I like
Exactly. Exactly. I use that term all the time.
The shadow here can be tyranny or deafness. It's my way or the highway. I can't even hear you.
Right? Not listening. It's that rebel, right? That light warrior energy. Yeah.
And that is healed with simplicity and practicality.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So now the purpose has two meanings. It's your purpose in life, not what you're to do, but how you are to be. But in the Venus sequence, it's also what is your purpose in relationships?
Tom, have you done the Venus sequence?
Twice.
Okay, I am just now wanting to step into it. Do you know if there's a live one coming up? Like I know I can I can just purchase the course, but is there
the next? Well, they're just starting the first
activation. Yeah, I know.
I don't know when they're going to do another Venus. In the fall, they're going to do the Pearl, and that's the only sequence I have not yet done. So my knowledge there is a little shaky.
How did the Venus sequence affect you?
It was tough. I fortunately, the last 6 months, was able to find a group of men, and we created a subgroup. So there was about maybe 10 or 11 of us that all worked together to be mutually supportive, and that was phenomenal.
Was it? I'm so happy to hear that because we need more of that in the world, Tom. We really do.
Well, I'll go into that, but I was sort of quite disappointed that it was like 95% white women.
Women?
White women.
I thought white women. Okay, I thought you said it was a men's group. What am I missing?
Of the 3,000 people that did it, I was able to bring together 10 men.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The majority of the people doing this
white women
are white women. So I'm trying to bring it to more people of color and more men.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to help, let me know.
Sure.
You want to, advertise it further?
Absolutely. I'll send you some of my ads.
Yep, for sure.
The purpose, let's get back there.
Okay.
Is the voice, and it deals with frequency. Your gift there is perseverance, which if that's the gift, generally there's things you're going to have to persevere.
Persevere with my voice.
Well,
or
persevere in just your purpose. You're going to have
with my truth, right? With my truth.
struggles.
Stand in my truth. Yeah.
And in the Venus sequence, the fifth line is about being a leader on the positive side or being a victim on the shadow side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have 55, you understand where that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely understand that the freedom lies in understanding that I'm not a victim.
Yes. In your attraction sphere, you have a fifth line. It's the same that I have there.
Yep.
But your key is what I have in my purpose, which is intimacy.
Okay.
So as you can transcend being dishonest, and it's not so much being dishonest outside of yourself, it's more inward.
I get that. Yeah.
And the fifth line is about sensuality, and the negative side can be entrapment.
Oh God, yes, right? So
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Well, it's that seductive fifth line, you know. It's like,
Right.
and if you're not being completely honest, you know, it's entrapping.
But like you said, being completely honest with yourself is a whole different ballgame because we hide things from ourselves.
Oh yeah, and
So
there's
the moment,
stuff in our subconscious that we don't know that we don't know.
right? Exactly.
That's why these kinds of pathways are so important for people
Yeah.
to
Absolutely.
get that knowledge. In your IQ, do you understand how the Venus works? The whole sequence?
How do you mean? How it works?
Well, it starts off with your purpose, what people find attractive in you. Then it starts to go into childhood development. It starts with the teenage years and goes backwards.
Yes.
So your IQ, which is the last thing to develop, you have a fourth line, which means you have the influential mind. And that can also be inflexible.
Right? Don't tell me.
And your
That's
gift
changed
there,
a little over the years.
your gift there is insight.
Yeah.
And the fourth line is about integrity, honesty, and can also be about romance and softness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it goes so beautifully into the IQ from the attractor.
Mm-hmm.
Those two energies. It's actually that just showed me something just now. That's very cool. Okay, continue. Sorry. Go ahead.
The EQ is your only first line in your whole chart.
I know. What's that mean?
EQ is your emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And the first line is about self-esteem. Excuse me, self-esteem, and the negative side can be self-sabotage. Yeah. Emotionally, the shadow there is distraction.
Mm.
The SQ, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 fourth lines.
I do.
3 fifth lines, 2 third lines, and the one first line and 1 second line.
Yeah.
So the SQ is your spiritual
quotient.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fourth line is about belonging, about kinship and community. And it's transforming intolerance to understanding.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
I
then
had a big epiphany around that the other day, in that I've always known how central, how key, no pun intended, the SQ really is.
Yeah.
And so the line 4 of belonging in that key, in that sphere, sorry, is so important as it relates to my understanding of me belonging to me, of regathering, intentionally regathering my energy, so that what then comes back out is more, it's more enriched, you know, from my EQ. It's more insightful from my IQ. The whole thing from my, well, anyway, you get the idea.
And they all build upon one another. That's the first set of lessons from 1 through 7. And then from that, you build your how you respond emotionally. Then from that, you build how you respond intellectually with the mind. And the core wound, or they also call it the vocation, it's sort of what was brought in to your DNA from your lineage and ancestry, which is the wound of rejection.
Yeah.
And that is healed with gentleness.
I know.
And kindness. As it goes into the pearl, I still don't have a great deal of knowledge about how the pearl functions, but I can give you my best shot at it here.
Yeah, no, I'd appreciate that actually, because I don't have that much insight into it yet either. So I'm not there yet.
In your vocation, I know it's an 8 because that's my life's work, which is also a line 4. And that's about sales and connectedness, which kind of goes hand in hand with the 4th line in your SQ.
Sales and connectedness with belonging. Sales and connectedness with belonging. How would that work?
Well, it's kinship and community.
Yes. Okay.
So those connections to, you know, kindred souls and community, and sales is a part of it. The gift there is style. But style is you just being you. You are your style. Yeah. Not imitating someone else, not trying to be something else, just you being you. Yeah. The culture, and I have no idea what the culture is or does, is a 2nd line. It's your only 2nd line. And it's about partnership.
Yes, it is.
And I've always thought of the 2nd line as like a mirror. You see within the other what is in you.
Absolutely. Exactly. Right. And I'll tell you a little thing about that. So once I started, you know, I mean, I've gone through all of the sequences on my own. I haven't done all of the courses. I've done the activation. But like I said, I've been studying this for 4 years. So it's not like it's new to me. Right. So when I look at the culture, what I have come to understand about myself personally as it relates to the 2nd line, I've actually been bringing out into the world over the last 2 to 3 years, because what it's about for me and where I'm strongest is one-on-one. That's this line 2, dancer, right? And so for me, I'm right, exactly. So I'm on the board of our local psychedelic society here in Halifax, and my job, my title is a volunteer coordinator, but basically what that means is that my gift that I bring in this outfit is being that person that is one-on-one with incoming potential volunteers and seeing where people fit and that kind of thing. That's been so challenging for me over this last year with the Zoom calls, and I'm not comfortable in this forum. I'll do it, but typically I have a lot of anxiety coming up to it, and you know, and so in the past I would have just backed away. I would have, right? But now because I'm committed, I follow it through, and I've gotten such confirmation and joy and enrichment.
Did you see Psychedelic Society?
Yep.
Oh, I was just on my very first plant medicine retreat last weekend.
Ah, how was it?
Very intense. A lot of releasing.
right? But
Oh,
there's a
good.
lot of healing power behind that,
Oh, I know, and it's still unfolding.
right? And that's why I'm so committed to it. I was diagnosed with MS back in 97.
Uh-huh.
I was on mass medication for almost 20 years. I'm now medication free almost 5 years. And it all came,
Awesome.
well, not all, but a big part of it came through what I learned through psychedelics. And
Awesome.
I healed from this illness, this ease, through what I came to, higher understanding. No. So yeah,
And
it's pretty awesome.
you have 55 as your pearl.
I do.
Ah, I have it as my radiance.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's a fourth line. And fourth line here it says, is that
Charity.
charity or clarity?
Charity.
Charity.
Uh-huh. From the heart. Right?
Absolutely.
It's from the heart that you give. And I've
And
always,
that is your gift to the world, to help people to realize that they are responsible for everything, their emotions, their circumstance in life, their goals.
right? Which
And
means that you're no longer a victim. And when you step into that, you and are able to honor that within yourself and within other, there is freedom. There is in abundance freedom, right?
that was the whole piece of what the second day of my ceremony was about. The first day was about release.
Yeah.
The second day, there were a couple of, I don't want to be judgmental, but men who haven't really done any emotional work. And when the medicine started to hit them, it was just overwhelming and they freaked out.
I don't doubt it was pretty powerful. Yeah. When you
Well,
were in such denial for so long,
yeah.
and then you are hit with these insights, it's almost too much, right? So that's why it's so important that when you work with psychedelics and psychotherapy, or you just do the work on your own without a psychotherapist or whatever, it's so important to do the integration, because you need to then, the information you come to know, you then integrate in your day-to-day life. So it lasts, it holds, it sticks, right?
Well, as you can see in my name there, it's Tribe55.
I know.
Are you in the Facebook group there?
Oh yeah, I have been
Oh, okay, good.
quite a while. Yeah, you'll see if you go back and look.
I'm just starting a new venture, which is called CrossRoads, with two other people, and
Yeah,
it's where addiction meets spirituality. So
I saw that yesterday or the day before. I haven't looked at it enough yet. But so what is the premise? What are you doing with it?
well, we're incorporating the 24th gene key and the 55th gene key, and it's more to attract people who aren't necessarily in human design or gene keys, but to
Okay.
bring that knowledge. Especially my focus is on people of color, Native American people,
Yep.
young Black men. And
Tom, have you seen the film From Shock to Awe?
what is the film?
It's called From Shock to Awe. You don't need to write it down. I'll send you the link. Okay. So
Okay.
the our psychedelic society is sort of 3 years ago, it was very much a grassroots thing, and we're just now kind of coming up into the public. We've become nonprofit and that sort of thing. So one of the things we're doing for fundraising, and this is not a pitch to you, I'm just telling you about it, is where we have contacted the producer of the film From Shock to Awe. It's a documentary about veterans who have severe PTSD and CPTSD, which is coming out more and more that most of us can relate to. Most of us have been traumatized in one way or another.
Yeah.
I don't need to go into mine, but just understand that it took me a long time to come to understand that that's what was going on with me.
Right.
And so, this is one more thing I'm passionate about. So From Shock to Awe, we are doing screening on the 15th of July And afterwards, we're doing a Q&A with, I don't know, do you know who I mean by James Jesso?
I suck at names, but
Doesn't matter. Okay, so James is he does the psychotherapy as or psychedelic circuit, basically, right, for the different psychedelic conferences and festivals and that kind of thing. He's an amazing guy. Look him up on YouTube. I'm sure you'll absolutely appreciate his work. At any rate, he's one of the panelists, and we've also got Luc Cote, who is the producer of the film from Chocolate Off, as one of the other panelists. And the third is actually on our board of directors, one of our board members, Alexis Van something, I can't remember her last name. At any rate, she's a physician who's on our board.
awesome.
And so these are the three panelists afterwards for an hour. So you can ask them anything about, whatever you want. But the point is, the film showcases, I think it's 2 or 3 different vets who went through, have severe PTSD. And as you can understand why. And so the 2 substances that they worked with during this film were MDMA, which is basically what saved my life, and ayahuasca. So you get to look at how that's helped them, the struggle that they had beforehand, and how these psychedelics have truly changed their life, as it has mine, as it has many people. So for me, that's the kind of, when you think of the 55th, that's the kind of charity that is so, like right now, just sitting here in goosebumps, right? Or truth bumps, as you call them, because that's my truth. I know that this is my job to bring this stuff out into the world, to start to help people to help themselves to heal, right? To do this work. So the work that you're doing, and please continue to do it. Keep bringing these men together with you, right? Because it's so, so important that they have not just integration after their experience with the various psychedelics, but then to have a community they can step into,
the
right?
support and modeling and all those
Absolutely.
things.
At any rate, I will